How? This is correct.
Any more questions?
In scientists, there are some minor difference in their behavior pattern. How to find that and how to differentiate, and do you want us to put them in special school or normal school? Or they cope up in that normal itself? For that I need.
So as it's ready, we'll just get into the presentation as such. It's not going. Next. This is basically the theme for today. Identifying and providing for children with special needs. This is basically the entire thing. Previous slide. These are the basic contents which we'll be looking into. I'll be just starting with what the entire focus of the thing would be. These would be the basic processes or the basic things which we'll be talking about, the basic concepts which we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about information processing skills. That's the broad term which we use, is information processing, because all of you all are getting some amount of information and you all are processing it. So what basically takes place in information processing is you have attention, you all are paying attention, and there's a process which is happening, and that you check it by memory. So we'll be talking a lot on attention and memory. We'll talking about behavioral manifestations of information processing skills. Okay, how is it seen in small children? How do I know that the child has understood or the child has not understood? The child is paying attention. It's basically through the behavior of the child. And we'll be talking about language and learning. In information processing skills, we'll be doing this entire things which is there. Attention, we'll be talking about two kinds of attention, auditory attention as well as visual attention. We'll be talking in auditory, we'll be working a lot on listening skills. What basically is this listening skills all about? What do you mean by listening skills? How do you know the child is listening? What is normative for what age? And where is the deviancy which is there? Then we'll be talking about memory. The entire process of how memory happens. We'll be talking about the sensory register. That's the immediate thing of how information processing takes place. We'll be talking about short-term memory, how it gets into working memory. Working memory is the execution of exactly what we do. In that we'll be talking about the phonological loop. That's where actually the language, the communication starts off for the child. And we'll be talking about learning long-term memory which is there. Then we'll be talking about the different styles of learning of each different children. This is basically based on temperament, mood of the child. Then we get into again details of language and communication. In attention, we'll be talking about auditory localization, auditory figure ground and hearing and noise. In visual, we'll be talking about discrimination, closure, drawings, symbolic representation. When we get into motor planning, we'll be talking about bilateral coordination and sensory integration. These are just the terms which we are giving out to you all. In memory, we'll be talking about these different kinds of thing which is there. In preschoolers, how do we check it out? It's basically sensory motor play, what we call as object permanence, which starts off right from a very early age which is there. We'll be talking about the different theories which is there, given by different people, given by Lockhart. We'll be talking about perception. Okay, sensation is different, perception is different. We'll be talking about structural features such as symbolic representation, which is the key area when you're working with preschoolers which is there. Meaning a semantic level, that is an elaboration process which is there. In language, we'll be talking about top-down processing of language and emergent literacy. This is the way how naturally it takes up, and we're putting in a little bit of theoretical knowledge for you all to understand better. This is the entire concept for this entire day which is there. Okay, so when a child comes to you, all these processes are happening simultaneously. It is not like a cut piece which is there. Everything is together. So as a teacher, you should have your skills to actually observe. This is the key areas you will have to focus to find out the subtle differences between what is normal and what is a developmental phase which will go out, which is there. So getting into basic theories of development. What do you mean by development and what exactly is child development? Child development is nothing but the changes that take place over time. As the child develops, there are a lot of changes which actually take place, but it follows an orderly pattern. There is an orderly pattern, what we otherwise known as developmental milestones. So you should be knowing your developmental milestones extremely well. Otherwise you will not know what is an order and what is the deviance which is there. That move towards greater complexity and enhances survival. So from simple to complex, that is how it actually goes. What is a developmental delay? Once you know what is a normal development, we should know what is a developmental delay. A developmental delay is nothing but slow or impaired development of a child below 5 years of age, not above 5 years of age. Above 5 years of age, you have a different kind of a diagnosis which happens. So below 5 years of age and is at risk of having developmental disability because of the presence of any syndrome, metabolic disorder, prenatal or postnatal conditions which is there. So it is slow or impaired development. What is a developmental disability? How do you define a developmental disability? Impaired functioning in one or more areas of development such as physical is more observable, okay? Cognitive, social, emotional and communication due to various factors, okay? That various factors is most important. And how do you know these various factors? Because you have assessed it on standardized developmental tests that are available, okay? So it's a standard developmental test which is available. And I think as somebody was talking yesterday, her son was missing. When you go to a professional, you should be very careful as who the professional is, what is which is necessary. Okay, so that's also very important. I don't feel aware of a body which is not. Yeah. No.
But it was one of the best psychiatrists. So it was really sad, but the 2 weeks was hell for both of us, for me and my husband. And
See,
the same psychiatrist after assessing for 1 lab, we don't know is absolutely anything.
So he accepted that what he's done is wrong. That's something very great. Then he's a good psychiatrist.
He's supposed to be a medalist.
So I'm telling you, no, it's no use of having a lot of education. You should have this in your working children. But whenever you will go to any place or even you are doing referral, see to that an organization is under a statutory body which actually governs this kind of a thing. I don't know if you are aware of Rehabilitation Council of India or RCI. Okay? So all of us are registered under the RCI. It's mandatory for us. How you go to a medical practitioner, they have to be registered under a board which is there. Only then they have a license. So you should always go to a licensed personnel. Otherwise, always be a disaster. Okay? So get this very clear into your thing that there are various factors and based on standardized developmental tests which are there. The domains of development, I think you're already aware of it. You have physical, cognitive, social, emotional and communication. These are the broad areas which you're looking into when you're working on development. Physical development. When we are looking into physical development, we look a lot at reflexes. Okay? Reflexes are basically indicators of neural development which takes place in. So basically you have your neurons which is there, and as that myelination takes place, you have reflexes taking place which is there. So these are basically involuntary mechanisms of survival. Some of the reflexes would be sneezing, which is more or less permanent, blinking of the eye, it is more or less permanent, coughing, more or less permanent. These help you to survive in the environment. These are basically reflexes. You have other reflexes which are temporary, which indicates neural development is there. Okay, lot of reflexes in children. Some of them should die out by 3 months, 7 months, and then you know that the child is actually going in the right place which is there. You have gross motor skills. All of you all would be aware of gross motor skills. Okay? So what are the principles in gross motor skills? What is the first principle that you will have to keep in mind when you are assessing gross motor skills? Development always takes place from the cephalocaudal trend. When we mean by the cephalocaudal trend is from the head to the toe. Always development starts from the head to the toe. So that's why you're always looking at head control, then you're looking at sitting, then you're looking at walking. Okay? And that's the first principle. The second principle, it would be development follows a proximal-distal trend. Proximo-distal is from the inner extremities to the outer extremities. Okay? So the child is holding a ball. Very small child will hold it like this. A much more bigger child, you expect that you hold it with the hands which is there. So these are the two principles. And the third principle, it is an orderly state. When one is fulfilled, only then it goes to the next stage which is there. These are the principles that you'll always have to keep in mind when you're looking at children which is there. Okay? And the milestones. The normative milestones is very important. Go to 3 months, by 3.5 months, the child has to have head control. Has to have head control. Head control is still not happening by 4 months. You have to get the child evaluated by a pediatrician or a doctor which is there. Then you have the normal milestones which is there. Some of the children don't crawl. That is okay. Some of them don't crawl. Okay, when you look into Indian culture, they say that Krishna had never crawled. Okay, so that is okay which is there. Walking usually 1 year, 6 months. Indian babies have to walk by 1 year, 6 months. Okay, boys will always be delayed because culturally we pamper them more than the girls which is there. Okay, so 1 year, 6, it's true. It's 100, especially when you work. See, urban India population is very little. Okay, most of India's population lies in the rural India. So we have to take those norms which is there. So by 1.6 years, the child has to be walking. That is mandatory which is there. Okay, it's a mandatory thing. So 6 months and above, the child has still not achieved a milestone. That's when we diagnose it as a developmental delay. In Indian babies, we keep that waiting period. And in boys, so we have more thing because it's culturally a thing that, you pamper the boy more than the girl. So that's something which we cannot do about. Then we are looking at fine motor. Fine motor involves smaller muscles. Fine motor development starts up from the shoulders up to your fingers which is there. Okay, fine motor we are looking into. We are looking into sensory. Sensory is basically making meaning from all the information that is received through the sense organs. Your eyes are seeing, your ears are hearing, your touch is there, smell is there, everything. So it has to be a perfect synchronization. It's like an orchestra, the brain takes in all this information. When you have perfect thing, it leads to sensory integration. Okay, when in one area, suppose the eye is seeing it but not making meaning about what it is seeing. Okay, sensation is just getting in the thing. Now you are seeing me, sensation. Okay, what I am wearing, you are able to understand what I am actually doing, that is perception. Giving meaning to sensation is perception. Okay, so when you are not able to give meaning to any one sensory information which is coming in, you have an area known as sensory dysfunction or sensory integration dysfunction which is there. And this is the core area which we'll be looking into when you're working with autistic children. There's a huge amount of sensory gaps which is there. Okay, everything physiologically is normal. On a physiological test, they pass it, they're perfectly normal which is there. But that information processing doesn't happen. So the entire therapy would be focusing on how do you actually do this integration. The sensory integration approach is what is applied there. The rest is taken up by Bhuvna.
So among the different domains of development, we have briefly spoken about the physical domain, which involve the gross motor, fine motor, the reflexes and all. Like when the reflexes are happening, the spinal cord is in charge. Then when slowly mature behavior, motor behavior starts off with gross motor, head control and all that, the brain is taking over. So that's when reflexes are persisting. Certain infant reflexes are there. If it's persisting, that means the brain development is still not good enough for that particular age. So this is more on the, the reflexes. Like when there's a small baby, No, infants, in the babies. When there is...
See, you have different reflexes which are checked in babies. One is Moro reflex, one is Babinski reflex, one is the Palmer reflex, one is the tonic neck reflex. These are the few reflexes which we actually check. Moro reflex, if you were mothers, the first day after birth, okay, within 24 hours, you'll have the pediatrician actually coming in and just holding the child's hand like this, lifting the baby and just putting it down. Putting it down means not throwing it down, no? Just putting it down. And then you do the flexing of the muscles. It goes in like that and it crunches in like this. Okay?
There's a sudden noise also.
So that's basically for survival. That is the Moro reflex which is there. It has to die out by around 4 months of age. If it dies out only, you will have head control. Okay? So then you have the Babinski reflex which is there. Babinski reflex is you take the feet of the child, just scratch it like this. It fans out. The thumb has to come out like this and it has to go. Okay? So this dies out by around 6 months of age. It doesn't die out, you know that that neurological development is not taking place. Tonic neck reflexes, you just do this and then they turn this side. They have to turn towards the survival thing which is there. So Palmer reflex also is very important. Palmer reflex is nothing but the minute you give your finger to the child has to grasp it. That is basically for survival. That is a very, very primitive reflex which is there. Some children do not hold it tight. They do not hold it tight. So that's an indicator that this child is at high risk for developmental disability. You have to keep checking, monitoring the entire. These are basically the reflexes we look into.
So then now the earliest indicator for us that the brain is developing is through these motor activities. But at the same time when the motor skills are developing, you also see that the child is getting curious about the environment, trying to drop things and see how it sounds like, touch that, try to feel how it is, lick it and see. Always mouthing is there, take and put it in the mouth. Taste it and see. So all these are indicators that, cognitive development is also happening. That the child is trying to explore the environment, whatever is there in the environment, using all his senses. They're more attracted to colorful objects, moving objects. So visually they are getting stimulated and, they continuously make noise. That's why we give them rattles and all that. So the toys are also basically because we keep in touch with the normal development. So cognitive development is so important in a child's overall development that it is related to almost all the activities of the child, how the child thinks and executes his activities, how he plays with other children, how he plays by himself. Everything is related to the cognitive development. And the best way to describe or explain cognitive development is through a theory called Piaget's theory of cognitive development, given by Jean Piaget. He was a Swiss psychologist, and he has explained various stages of development, like the 0 to 2 years, he calls it as a sensory motor period. And from 2 till about 7 years of age, he says it's a pre-operational stage. After that, they go on to concrete operational and formal operational stage till about adolescence. But what we are more concerned about here is the pre-operational stage, because that's where you are going to see children of that age. As they come into preschool, they are around 2 years of age. Most of the preschools take in only by 2 years of age, because that's when they finish off that sensory motor period, where exploring the objects and all that takes place. They are satisfied with that sensory motor play and they are ready to learn in the pre-operational stage, ready to explore. During this stage, the children's use of symbolic thinking grows, mental reasoning emerges, and the use of concepts increases. And he has given a few terms like assimilation, accommodation, and adaptation. Accommodation, he talks about something called a schema. Schema is there in your mind, in the brain, and you encounter a new thing, you tend to understand it and assimilate it in your system. And again, when you get something else, you are comparing with the previous schema, and you're trying to accommodate it along with that. If it is the same thing, then it get grouped with that, or if it's a new thing, it's again another schema which is formed. So that way the child adapts to the environment when he encounters new things.
Assimilation is like gathering information. You just keep gathering a lot of information which is there. Like colors you're teaching them fruits and all that. You assimilate it. Okay, so when you start telling children like, apple, orange, grapes, lot of assimilation is there. Next level you will go to is fruits. The minute you say the fruits, that is an adaptation. A new word is come for their entire family of fruits which is there. Under that you have different things. So like that you tend to adapt to the environment. Lots of things keep coming in. Like for example, how would you check it in the earlier stages, whether adaptation has actually taken place? You know numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know multiplication, you know division. But when you use the word for it, instead of putting the sign when you say add, the child knows that add, ADD plus the sign means the same. So that's assimilation and accommodation. And the child adapts to the thing easily. Did you all understand?
Symbolic function, according to Piaget, the ability to use a mental symbol, a word or an object to represent something that is not physically present. Like the child knows that this is a dog if the dog is going there. How does he know that? DOG has no similarity with what it looks like, what the dog looks like. So it's an abstract mental representation. So that is the symbolic function, because it's an arbitrary symbol. That is basically nothing but language also. Language is also a symbolic function. Okay? And centration, the process of concentrating on one limited aspect of a stimulus and ignoring other aspects. Conservation, knowledge that quantity is unrelated to the arrangement and physical appearance of objects. Like we can give you examples for both. Like how she said now, fruits. So, apple, orange, mango, everything is there. But all of that belong to the category of fruits. That is a central thing, that's centration. Okay, and
central theme. You're working around a particular thing. When you say colors, like your theme is the thing. Okay, so you're working on one particular thing, you focus only on that. That is centration.
Conservation. Now you have a big beaker and a small beaker. Okay, and you pour the same amount of water in both. Now what is the child going to say? Which has more water? So they don't
have the concept of volume.
Whichever looks full, they may say it is more, or whichever is big, they may say it is more. But that actual concept is not. That is quantity. Conservation is not there. Transformation, the process whereby one state is changed to another. Okay, this is again more of abstract, how the representations are made and make meaning out of that. Egocentric thought, thinking that does not take the viewpoints of others into account. Most of the preschoolers are like that. They have a very egocentric perspective. They understand the world only through their eyes. They can't see the other person's viewpoint. Okay. Intuitive thought, thinking that reflects preschoolers' use of primitive reasoning and their avid acquisition of knowledge about the world. Now, in preschoolers, what information processing happens? We work on the attention and memory aspects, but what you see in them is that they don't have memory strategies like rehearsal or organizing or something like that. It's a very rudimentary level of remembering things, and they have more episodic memory or autobiographical memory. Episodic memory and semantic memory are two different things. Episodic is whatever has happened, they remember things through that. It's not through making meaning out of that or thinking about it and reasoning. Those things are not there. Whatever they see as episodes, whatever happens, that they remember better. That's why visualization works best with them.
And that's why you'll use a lot of visual aids to teach them. Okay, because their brains have not developed so much to take in the thing. So episodic memory is the most high. They remember in episodes. Okay, so birthday means they will remember only certain things of it. They don't remember the entire thing which is there. Rehearsal is nothing but when we tell you a telephone number, you tell it 2-3 times. That doesn't happen in them. Okay, so you have to keep telling it a lot of times for them to actually start off with it. So that's basically the rehearsal which is there.
The next is social emotional.
We are looking at social and emotional development. So once is cognitive and social emotional development, both takes place simultaneously. Okay, but as a preschool teacher, you have to focus a lot on the social and emotional development of children, because happy children make happy adults. Happy adults make happy families. Okay, and then it continues. Happy families bring out happy children. Okay, so this is the basic thing which is there, the social and the emotional development. This is the part where all of you will get stuck. Whether to tell that why is the child sulking, why is the child angry, why does he behave like this, the behavioral manifestations come out here. So what do you mean by social and emotional development? It is the ability to initiate and maintain relationships. Okay, how would you initiate a relationship? Whether you go say hi, whether the child says hi, how is it that you maintain that relationship? During this development, a child learns how to approach other children, how to negotiate issues, how to take turns, and how to communicate effectively. These are the main characteristics which a child learns in social emotional development. I think turn taking would be one of the key skills which all teachers will find it very difficult. You know, please wait. That waiting in children is extremely difficult. Okay, whether it's your own or whether it's your school children also. Key focus in social and emotional development would be self-concept. Your idea about yourself. All of us have a concept about ourselves. Okay, I am. If you ask, if I can give you a small thing, you can just write about yourselves first. Who am I? Who do you think you are? All of you can write at least 3 qualities about who you are. Who you are. Okay? Who you are. You have to write 3 qualities about who you are. You are done? I think some are still writing. What do you think about yourself?
I'm Vidya. I'm an active lady. I want to learn some new things that is necessary for our livelihood. That should be properly implemented in that should be properly implemented in my day-to-day life. And I want to be a perfect wife, mother, and teacher also.
What it finished.
No problem, let us do.
At home, I'm a different person, talkative, and I want to learn about new things.
Fine.
I believe myself, ma'am, and I want to learn some new things.
I am a woman. I am satisfying my family needs and emotions. I am a teacher. I am explaining about how to behave in society and language development. and I'm actually very active. Some persons are telling me you are hyperactive.
That's fine. I'm not bothered about the others. I want yourself.
Uh,
What is your view about yourself?
Yes, and I'm very curious about everything present in the nature, and for everything I want to learn how to make, how to become like this. That is in my.
Hi ma'am, this is Gautami. I'm very possessive and friendly, and I love to help others, and I love learning new things. And more of myself is I'm a bit short-tempered.
I'm a quick learner. I'm helping and I'm short-tempered.
I'm an intelligent, sensitive and caring person who is very curious to keep learning.
Hi, I'm on the face I do come across as an extrovert, but in reality I'm an introvert. I'm very happy in the little world that I live in, very happy and content, with my husband and my son and the little one all the way. So I'm very happy and content. And apart from that, I do like traveling and reading, and that's about it.
I'm friendly and active and loving person, and having patience more.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sandhya. I am a hard worker and well-wisher to others, for all, and I have a strength for the handle to kids.
I am more of a family-oriented person, and I would like to bring smiles on everybody's face, even if I am sad. I believe in living life to the fullest.
Hi, my name is Chaitra. About me, I'm a hard worker and I doesn't want to hurt anybody, myself, to anyone. I like to be very sincere with everybody.
Hi, I'm a learner for any new things, and I want to be a perfect mother, and I am a hard worker.
I am a soft person. I have helping nature. I should learn a lot.
I'm Rani. I'm a simple person. I'm always love to learn new things in cooking or in internet or in anything.